No, no, it's always your show, and you're the boss and the captain. So, Dr. Andrew, like any plans of coming down to India or anything soon?
Well, let's begin with Shaleen Das. You have to know that we are live streaming, and we're doing that on our network, the AHIABGA-TV network. You are, of
Okay.
course, Dr. Shaleen Das, one of our Goodwill ambassadors. So I do want to let you know that everything I do is for you and for
Oh,
the people around the world, because I myself, Andrew Williams Jr., I'm Googleable as Andrew Williams Jr., but I was one of
hmm,
the first Facebook ambassadors back in 2009, October, not because
hmm,
I asked for it, but because others like you saw that I was posting content that was relevant, not just for social media, but in our real life worlds, our everyday life. So I am a curator of content. I'm both homeschooled, but of course I did attend regular school as well. But
hmm.
my mother, who was not educated, was self-taught. And so my task is to find interesting content and share it around the world. That's what I do. So I'm never at a loss or bored. I'm always looking for ways to share information that may be interesting to people around the world. So I'm so
Hmm.
happy, Dr. Das, that you and I have met, because India, as you know, is the largest democracy in the world, but India is no stranger to me.
Okay, all right. But when I'm there, then I don't think that it's a stranger world to you.
Well, I do want to share a very personal story with you. On April the 4th of 1968, that's a day known around the world because it was a day that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated, right? Now, I was born in Macon, Georgia, in the heart of the Deep South, at a
Hmm.
time when our civil rights were still not respected. And you
Okay.
have to understand that even though I was born in 1958, I was conceived in 1957, right? That happened to be the year that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King traveled to Ghana at the time when the Kwame Nkrumah was stepping in as the first independent leader of that country. Dr.
Okay.
King learned a lot about the struggle for freedom, human rights that were happening on the continent of Africa, and he brought that back here to the United States. So my life has very much been affected, even before I was born, about the activities in the world around me. But I was almost not born. My mother, unfortunately, was devastated by the horrific murder of Emmett Till a few years before I was conceived. She decided not to bring me into the world. She decided to
Okay.
abort me. And she didn't believe that there could be any happy future in the world that she was born in. And she didn't want to bring another child into the world. But I survived. And so it's very fortunate that I did, because I learned to speak in complete sentences at 18 months old. And I was able to save her life when I was 3 years old, because I was able to communicate to her a threat to her life for domestic violence. Unfortunately, I was caught in the middle. As a result of that, I was into a coma for 3 weeks. I knew nothing. And so, as I live and breathe with you now, my mother decided to dedicate my life to God. So, on April the 4th of 1968, Shaleen, I was first called a nigger. I had no idea what that meant at the time. And it was by an illiterate, uneducated Southern white cracker woman, let me put it that way, who was actually a clerk in the store where I bought my books and newspapers every week for 5 years. She told me to keep my hands off those books, or I end up like another Georgia nigger, like that nigger king. If I didn't stop trying to talk white and learn how to read. I was flabbergasted, Shaleen. But my mother, when I explained to her what happened, she came back and chastised the woman. And then we had what they called the talk. In the United States, when people say the talk, usually it's about parents telling their children, particularly the Black males, um, don't be assertive around police or you will be a victim of police brutality. And the world found that out through the murder of George Floyd. But she had another message for me. Her message to me was that even though I wasn't born in Africa, Africa was born in me. And she took that phrase from Kwame Nkrumah. It's a very important phrase, but she took it one step further. She let me know that at one time on Earth, all the people on Earth came from the place that they now call Africa. So technically, we're all one family. No matter that just a few hundred years ago, people from one part of the world came there and took people from that part of the world and brought them to this part of the world where they killed and took over the land from another group of people. Shaleen, she made it clear I could not hate any of them because all their blood runs in my veins. So she made a commitment to me to first survive, find a way to live, and then find a way to reconnect our human family. So when my 50th birthday came along on April the 24th of 2008, I decided I would dedicate the next 50 years to doing what my mama told me to do. Find a way to reconnect our human family. So that's what brought us here. And you see my continual involvement with the United Nations and the Global Compact. Now, I certainly do not believe in, agree with, or condone all of the acts or things that the United Nations does. But I do recognize it as the premier international organization that represents the majority of nations around the world. I have a particular tie, however, to what we now know as the Sustainable Development Goals that was launched in 2015. But originally, it was launched in 2000 by the then Secretary General, Kofi Annan. He was not only the first and only Secretary General from sub-Saharan Africa, but he was also a traditional chief, a chieftain for his traditional chief. And I myself, in August 1st of 2020, I was actually inducted as a prince myself in the Akan Kingdom as he was. But it was on February the 1st of 1999 when Kofi Annan visited an event that just happened recently again, the Davos World Economic Forum. That's when he announced the launch of an idea called the United Nations Global Compact. This is before the Millennium Development Goals were launched. And the next year, on July 26th, he did formally launch the United Nations Global Compact. That's because of his lived experience, Shaleen. He could see how multinational corporations from around the world came into the community and in particular focused on mining, extractions, where they would use mercury and poisonous chemicals to rape the earth, but it also devastated the lives of the community itself, poisoning their water, poisoning the air. So he put together a group of 40 leaders or leaders of 40 corporations, and they actually launched what's the first what we now know as corporate social responsibility, CSR. So the United Nations Global Compact has grown now to be the largest corporate social responsibility organization in the world with over 20,000 members. But some would say the genius of Kofi Annan is that he structured it so that civil society could hold accountable the corporations and governments to address four major areas, beginning with human rights, including indigenous rights, the environment, labor, and anti-corruption. I'm so glad you called today because the Transparency International just last week, launched the global, excuse me,
Yeah.
the Corruption Perception Index around the world. It gauges the ability of people, they do a survey to find out which countries around the world are open and transparent and which ones aren't. Unfortunately, there's been a drop in the number of nations that are moving towards transparency over the last few years from 2017 to 2020, but 24. But the great news for Africa is that Angola has now been shown to be one of those countries that's having the most advanced towards transparency. So I do want to just thank you so much, Shaleen, for giving me a chance to share that information with you. But now let me turn it over to you. Understand we have an audience that may or may not know you. So take the time to introduce yourself. You can share your screen, but this is your show. I do conversation with Andrew Williams Jr. to interview people like yourself to find out what you're doing in your local area or global area that can be an inspiration to our youth, because they won't listen to what we say. They'll only watch what we do. So please, Shaleen Das, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for giving me this honor, Dr. Andrew. And first of all, I didn't know that I was coming in your show, or else I would have dressed up. I just came all of a sudden looking ugly. Sorry for that. Yeah. And thank you so much. It's just a shocking thing for me that coming live, I said, what's happening? I thought maybe it's going to be a personal talk, but no, you invited me, surprise invitation in your show. So thank you so much. And never mind all the audience who all are watching me right now. It's my midnight. I'm all the way from India, Kolkata city. By the way, I'm Dr. Shaleen Das, the youth empowerment speaker, human rights lecturer, trainer, and etiquette trainer, worldwide trainer. And in my lockdown, like during the pandemic, I have trained over 60,000 young ones. African young ones worldwide, and even Indian youth were there, American youth were there, and worldwide I have connected people, did human rights sessions, webinars, shows in Latin America, Guatemala, Argentina, Mauritius, South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, even in Kenya. And it's uncountable that how many young ones I have taught till now, but it's over, as I mentioned, it's 60,000. So it's more than that, maybe. And I'm a lecturer and teaching in various colleges in Kolkata, even in India, in Raipur, Delhi, Bombay, like worldwide, as I said. So that's how my journey started. I came to know Universal Declaration of Human Rights when I was in Standard 5 from my mother, because she was connected with United Nations, United for Human Rights, and Youth for Human Rights. She wanted her daughter to work for human mankind, and that was quite inspiring, because I know that in a lot of jobs there are different kind of vibes and energy, but when a person is totally devastated and when a person is totally mentally down, that time nobody can help them. Only a human rights consultant and human rights people can counsel them, understand their feelings and state of mind, and can give them suggestions. And no matter what, who we are, from which background we come from, which country we come from, everybody in their personal life somewhere more or less there are self victim of human rights, whether it's in relationship, whether it's in marriages, whether it's in work life, in corporate industry, where they need to face the laws, they need to face the lawyers, they need to face the court, which they haven't thought in their dreams also. But this is quite very much but I don't know what to say. It's very much hurting and very much difficult. If a normal person is leading a normal life, all of a sudden something bad incident came up in their life, especially women, and they need to go to the court and fight. Because you know what, and Dr. Andrew, I have learned one more thing, that there are a lot of divorce cases happening around the globe, like in India, like in America. The ratio is getting high and high nowadays. But do you ever believe, and can you imagine a person who knows, who date, and after that they're not having good understanding and set of mind, they're not able to solve their problems, and that problem can be solved, that too in court, who, and that too in among those person who has no idea about their living style, lawyers, judge, whosoever they are, police. Can they solve the problem? Of course not. I feel that this is my personal experience. When a person cannot solve their problem at homes, how they can take this case, they can drag this matter to court, and they want that a third person who doesn't even know them, they can solve their problem. Right. So that's quite irritating, and it's a long time process. Litigations takes years and years. But that's my question. life is just once, as you said in your many webinars and seminar. I heard from you that it's just once. So you don't know how long we are there uh, on this planet Earth, but as long as we are there, at least we can share some good memories and can do good deed, where people can remember us just for our good deeds and good works. And one thing which we can do unconditionally, that is spreading love. That's all we can do all the time. So that's how my journey started. And since class 5, when I was in standard 5, I came into social work. I started educating all the young ones regarding the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which is UDHR, and learnt about laws and everything, sections and IPC, Indian Penal Code systems, so there are a lot of things which I learned since my childhood, and it has been 15 years now. And I came into this platform, and then I was awarded from Dr. Mary Shuttleworth, the founder president for Youth for Human Rights International. I received Human Rights Champion Award in the year of 2020. And then I received a lot of awards, which is Global Youth Award from Nigeria, and then Life Amazing Award, Life Saving Award, and then and after that, professionally, I choose this human rights profession, this field, and became a human rights trainer, lecturer, and even I'm a trainer in aspiring flight attendants when it comes to grooming and soft skills. And then the most amazing thing which happened in my life, I was in Middle East last year. I went to Middle East to do a course on human resource management. I have studied human resource management based in human rights, which is a new subject. And nobody even knows that human resource management and human rights are quite similar. And people go for their training and courses on human resource management, but not human rights based in human resource management. So I did that. And then under that academy where I was taking this training, they saw me, they saw my profile, they asked me who am I, what I do. After that, they gave me opportunity that you come up and work with us and educate all the people and be a corporate trainer here. And then you won't believe, I said okay, and they said me, can you give us demo about UDHR, because they had no idea what is UDHR. And it's Middle East country bringing human rights. It's the first thing, because there now they are appreciating, because in Middle East there are a lot of king who came to United Nations as a speaker and became a part of UN. Recently they started, earlier these things were not there. So now
Agreed.
slowly they're changing their set of mind. They're also appreciating bringing human rights. Then they told me, can you bring? I said yeah. So what I did, since it's a corporate institute and academy where they have a course on human resource management and related to aviation, related to soft skills and corporate subjects, topics. So I said I can do one thing. One day, there were some sessions going on. Some group of 60 men came up to take some sessions on some corporate industry there. Especially, I organize an event on human rights, labor law, and labor rights. And it was first time in Middle East where I delivered to 60, 70 men on labor rights and labor law, a session on human rights. So that was first time which that happened in Middle East last year. So slowly these things happen. And in Kolkata city there are a lot of universities, colleges, but no colleges entertain, they don't have the subject called human rights. Me myself started a chain that young ones, young adults, they should know their rights, because this is this crucial stage where they come to know how to save their life and rights when they are studying in colleges, universities, schools. Because after schools you come up, there are a lot of stages even young people, every individual face. So after you come out from a school, you come into university where you get to see new world, and then you get into job life, and you get into married life. So a lot of things are there, but nobody give the awareness and key points that what are the correct tools, that if you face any problem in your life, what you're going to do. So since then, what I did, I started doing a mission, bringing a mission to modify my state and India, especially under my leadership skills, I started visiting all the universities, started doing PRs, marketings on UDHR and human rights, and started doing giving demonstration and promotions. And then that's how people started liking it. They and then I especially go in all the universities where I launch human rights subject as a compulsory activity or a crash course, a certification course of human rights. And then they call me, and after my taking my sessions, they just get mesmerized. Oh my god, this is first thing we are coming to know. This is how I started this change. And in all the universities in Kolkata, everybody know me by my name, everybody know me by my work which I'm doing. So I'm so much blessed to take this mission, and my family really supported me a lot, Dr. Andrew. Without their support, this would have been totally impossible, because you know what, to because we all are human rights activists. So coming from that background, it's all our non-governmental organization where they don't pay you. Right. And then taking up this mission, and family sponsored me that don't run after money. We have educated you, we have trained you not to keep your skills under the pillow. You need to go and explore. You need to go and help the poor people who cannot. Make your life stand somewhere. Be the youth icon of India. Make some, identity of yours, so that one day money will run after you. Now you don't need to think about money. You need to work hard and do exposure. So that's quite inspiring lines from my mom and dad, which inspired me a lot. And yes, since then I started doing that promotion, demonstration, PR, whatever you say. And now I'm in that state where everybody knows me. And I taught several youths, and you won't believe, recently I have educated 500 youths in one university here in Kolkata, which is New Alipur College. And next month I have one more session in St. Xavier's College. That's a quite big branding Catholic college in India. They have their branches everywhere in each and every state in India. So that's the name is St. Xavier's College. That's a Catholic college. So I have my next project with them, which is next month. And as you know that recently, last year, I received my doctorate, and I did my doctorate in youth affairs, in youth development projects, because I wanted to work with youth affairs and wanted to teach them how to face challenges, decision making. That was quite inspiring because I'm a youth. So that's how I received my doctorate. And since 5 years I was doing a project that was my thesis, which I wrote, did field work experience, and here am I today as a Dr. Shaleen.
Congratulations. I'm so inspired by you because when you first introduced yourself to me, you let me know that you were working with Youth for Human Rights. I have
Yes.
in Los Angeles, I had the opportunity to actually meet with Mary Shuttleworth in 2018. I was actually able to host and work with her. Her project at that time was to get all of the schools in California to have human rights as a course and curriculum for the youth. So I know very much how important it is to have a basis for human rights. What our audience may not know is that the Middle East has never had this introduction that you've brought to them. This is the first time on earth and in history that they open up their hearts to you. And that's only because of your daringness and your own willingness to understand that it's up to us, because human right number 29, you have to take human responsibility to be able to have your place in the world. So I'm going to briefly share my screen with you, if I may, because you're in India, and many people recognize this picture of Mahatma Gandhi. However, it's not as many people will understand or know that Mahatma Gandhi was inspired by an American. His name, excuse me, excuse me, his name is very familiar to those people who know Martin Luther King. I had a chance last year to visit the home in Concord, Massachusetts, where the inspiration for Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King and millions of others around the world were had. But before I go into those details, let me share with the audience that they can find out all this information at youthforhumanrights.org. One of the things that we have to do, Shaleen, is empower our audience so they can become not just consumers of content, but also understand their power as consumers. So anyone that happens to be listening to this now or that hears it in the future can take the responsibility for commenting and sharing about this video, because we have to also understand that languages and tools are changing as well, Shaleen.
Yes.
In this internet age, when you like and share content, then you actually are helping the algorithms to bring more time and attention to what that post is. So, for example, we're now talking about Youth for Human Rights. It's possible, I'm encouraging everyone to go to this website because they offer free information around the world in multiple languages, so that anyone that has an ability to access the internet, either through their computer or their phone, can get this information. There's a free online course to walk you through all of the human rights. In addition, there are curriculum that are available for those people that you spoke with. There's an educator kit where you don't have to do the work, Shaleen. You can simply access these contents and resources so that you can actually have this for your small group, for an entire school, or for an entire nation, or in your case, for an entire group of people around the world. So I do want to thank you so much, because very few people that have no understanding of what human rights are understand that all humans are born free and equal in dignity and rights. As this says, while some dictionaries define the word right as a privilege, when used in the context of human rights, we're talking about something more basic. Every person is entitled to certain fundamental rights simply by the fact of being human. These are called human rights, rather than a privilege which can be taken away by someone else's whim. Every person is entitled to certain rights simply by the fact that they are a human being. This is such an empowering message, Shaleen, to people, as you say, who had no idea that they had any rights at all. So they were consequently taken advantage of, they were victimized. And as my own family history includes the fact that my great-grandfather was lynched as a shareholder after the abolition of slavery, there are more people enslaved now than there were 500 years ago. This month, in fact, is Human Trafficking Month, Awareness Month. So we have to also take full awareness that we have to educate ourselves about what is happening in the world around us. Again, in our effort to have our own pursuit of happiness, we're not alone, Shaleen. So I admire so much what you're doing by reaching the youth, because the youth are not just the future, it's the youth that are the present, and the growth that happens between now and then, well, the impact, the effect on the world at large. So I do want to encourage the entire world to go to youthforhumanrights.org, where they can find out more information about this. They can also watch public service announcements, etc. But I see that I'm in an environment now that's beginning to be a bit louder than it's possible for me to comfortably continue this, Shaleen. So I'm going to stop my share and turn the mic back over to you for any closing thoughts.
Yes. Yes, everybody, as Dr. Andrew mentioned, that you please do visit humanrights.org. If you don't know your fundamental rights, then there are 30 rights. Totally, there are 28 articles and 2 responsibility which came, on the document in the year of 1948. So please, if you want to know more about the 30 rights and 30 articles, please go to the website www.humanrights.org. Rest all the details are mentioned there, and we come up with lots of seminar, webinars, march, and even every year in UN House, United Nations in New York, Manhattan, there is UN Youth for Human Rights Summit, which is organized by the headquarters in California, and 190 countries take part in that forum where you can be the speaker, you can be the youth delegate if you want to come and represent your social work for your country. So you can also be a part of that. So please stay tuned, because this year in July, again, the summit is coming in New York, in United Nations, Manhattan. Stay tuned, have a look. And if you want to be a part, please contact Dr. Andrew and me for the more details. Till then, stay tuned with us. We are coming up with more, and we can give you the correct information, how to organize, how you can apply, and how to be a part of youth delegate in UN summit in 24 in July or June, maybe soon. The dates and the month will be released, and till then you all can contact us. And yes, it's very important to know about your rights, because we all are human beings. Don't forget that we are not an alien, we are human beings. So being a human being, to know our rights, which have been 75 years now that this document came on this planet earth. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people who has no idea about their rights, about their life, about their certain things in personal life, in marriages, what they do and what is abnormal, what is normal. To identify that, for that you need to know your rights. So stay tuned with us, we'll come up more. So Dr. Andrew, I have one request. Like, since Women's Day is coming on 8th of March, International Women's Day, I want to organize a Women of the Year award show with you, so that everybody stay in touch with us, and we'll see whosoever has done the best work to uplift their communities. They will be sharing their photos and biography and their work, so we can organize a award show on International Women's Day. What do you say about this idea?
What I always tell you is yes, yes, and yes.
Okay, all right. I know you always support me, and I'm the one who is an innovative theme maker and who launch everything. Tell you that, Dr. Andrew, I want to do this, and you always say yes, and you are like the Santa who just say yes, it will happen, no problem. You just say what you want to do. So yes, that's my plan with you. That let's plan for this in March. We can organize an international award show, Women of the Year award show, where we can give the best award to the best women whosoever has done good work, social work to uplift their communities. And the women can come up, they can share their words, and we can have singing dancing program live. People can send their recorded dancing on singing, and we can showcase during Zoom or projector. And even it's my plan with you, even you have your some news channel or else some organization. If I'm not wrong, what's the name of this Abagata?
I'll share it with you. AHIABGA, and I'm glad you brought that up because it's also at the very top here, AHIABGA.TV. There's
Mm-hmm.
also a Facebook page for this, where this is
Mm-hmm.
streaming. But we also have a YouTube channel, Shaleen, where we have over
Okay.
videos. But the
Mm-hmm.
great news is that we can take advantage of this to put together information in advance. We don't have to wait until the last minute. We can begin right now today in attracting people to produce their videos so that by March the 8th, we can have a lot of content together. But it's your responsibility to pull this together. I'm going to support you. That's the way it's going to work.
Sure. So we need to make a flyer, and in that flyer, we need to mention each and everything. And from now, we need to list the speaker, who are the speaker, and it will be, international global forum where people will take part from different worlds, and then recorded version should be mailed on particular email, and then we will set that up, and we will have a show. And even Dr. Andrew, this is my plan. Like, since there are a lot of things we are doing, we can certify, we can bring some certification courses where we can train people on human rights and human resource management, and where we can certify them. We can open some forum like this, and where we can have everybody whosoever wants to take the course. And then in September, October, I'm coming to US. That got finalized. So soon I'll be seeing you there in United States of America. And then there I have a plan, like since I'm the brand ambassador for Youth for Human Rights, Washington, D.C. of India, where we will be organizing summit in D.C., where we can invite people. Like I'm working in different colleges where youth wants exposure. They want to travel. They want to take a part in 3 days summit or workshop, or any kind of events where they can come to US, where they can be there physically live, and they can have programs. They can have they can showcase their country, and they can be the speaker. So I have this kind of plans to do. Once I'm there, we will organize it, and we can have everybody from the globe. And as I mentioned you, that if people are interested, we can start a certification course where we can have human rights internship programs, human rights workshops, seminar, certification, and even human resource management, so that we can do in the future.
Well, no, we can do it right now.
Yeah, yeah, that will be more amazing. Yeah, sure, we'll do soon. And I don't know, I know you are very busy, but from core of my heart, I always invite you to India. So you are always welcome. And very soon I'm coming there, and I'll see you there.
Well, also, I'm sharing with you my screen because Youth for
Mm-hmm.
Human Rights India was founded to address these very same issues. And so I do
Mm-hmm.
want to always, I think I recommended to you at first, Dr. Ajman Zaidi. As you can
Mm-hmm.
see, the organization is a member of the United Nations Global Compact. I'm
Mm-hmm.
proud to say, Shaleen, that it was through my efforts that she was able to get this accomplishment. So I'm sure we can find success and support for what we're doing. But the first thing is to set up a WhatsApp group with yourself and myself. We're both the administrators, and that's where we
Mm-hmm.
bring in people to help us do the production first. And that way we can begin immediately. I'll set this up today.
Hmm. Sure, definitely. And thank you so much for this surprise show invitation. It was a very big surprise for me, and good to see you. Good to do a lot of future plannings, projects, work discussions with you. And I look forward to work with you more and more. And soon this year, I'm seeing you in United States of America.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So I'm going to ask
Thanks.
everyone to join us again at Andrew Network. You can find us at andrewnetworks.com. And
Okay, let me take a screenshot. Yes, I have taken a screenshot. Yes, all right.
just a minute.
Yeah.
Wrong button.
Okay, all right. Okay. Mhm.
But I'll put into your chat, of course, where you can find it. But again, we have a YouTube channel as well for
Mhm.
the AHIABGA-TV network, as well as a Facebook
Mhm.
group. But I'll make sure you
Mhm.
have everything you need. But people can always reach me through that email, AHIABGA-TV@gmail.com, and I'll be
Mhm.
happy to follow up from there.
Sure, and I'll connect to Dr. Chaplin regarding the Women of the Year award, where we can collaborate together, India, US, Nigeria, and where we can have the award show and the event on 8th of March. So this is end of January. Next week is February. So let's start from mid of February, deciding it, how many speaker, who all are performing. So we need to do that.
I'll set up the group today. It's
Hmm.
your responsibility, but I'll fully
As I
support your efforts.
Sure, fine. I'm ready to take the responsibility, and I'll make this happen. Yeah.
All right, very good. Thanks for our audience for joining us. And this is a
Thank you.
wrap of today's show of Conversation with Andrew Williams Jr. and Shaleen Das.
Thank you so much, Dr. Andrew. And this was a surprise invitation. Again, I'm telling you, thank you so much, and love you a lot. And we are coming up with more session to in future, and upcoming session will be on relationship, marriages, and article number 2, don't discriminate. Stay tuned till then.
I love you so much.
Thank
Namaste.
you. Take care. Bye bye. Namaste.